We are here with another Teacher of the Year profile. We're speaking with Seema Sokelis, who is one of 2 Teachers of the Year for the Sacramento City Unified School District. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
So you are a special day class teacher
Yes.
at James Marshall Elementary, and you work with students with autism.
Yes.
Tell me how your class works and how your program works.
So I have a 1st through 3rd grade class, and we have kind of a full spectrum in my classroom. I've got kids who are working at grade level, kids who are working at basic communication skills, learning to talk, learning to communicate. So a lot of my classroom is based on routine and really kind of individualized instruction. So we're looking at each kid and looking at what the best fit is for each student, and then kind of making a routine that works for those students. So a lot of my kids are kind of in and out of the classroom. Some of them are in the class more, some of them are pushing into gen ed classes. It just kind of really just depends on the student's needs, and so we're structured, but there's a lot of flow in the structure.
So you've got students with wide ranges of ability. How do you plan for that? How do you really like doing a split brain thing where you're addressing each individual need while you're dealing with a group?
So I have 14 lesson plans sometimes going on in my head at the same time. You kind of take a big lesson and then kind of tailor it to just like a gen ed teacher would do. You've got kids that are high, kids that are low, kids that are, this may not be their strong suit, or, it's their passion. You just kind of look at the class as a whole, kind of group kids based on ability, based on needs, and then kind of just through the lesson and through the instruction kind of tweak it as you need for each student and make it so it's at their level and at their need and understanding. So it's just something a teacher, I think, it doesn't matter special ed or gen ed, we just kind of do it.
So it sounds like you're continually assessing how they're doing.
Yes.
All the time, because you see progress or you may see some lack of progress, so you're constantly thinking.
So definitely we, myself and the staff in the classroom, we, between breaks or check-in, and it's like, okay, how did that lesson go? Did the way we explain things work? Well, if it doesn't work, then we need to kind of think, okay, well, that didn't work. How do we tweak the lesson? How do we re-teach the lesson, or even like just go back and say, okay, well, what can we do different? Or that worked great. Now how do we, or that was too easy. It's just got to check and modify and tweak. A lot of informal assessing goes on throughout the day, and a lot of just fine tuning through the day for different lessons.
And a lot of that fine tuning has to carry over into the house. So you must have to be in real good sync with the families.
I definitely try to make sure I'm checking in with the parents. We do kind of like a daily communication log that the kids, they take ownership, they fill it out. It's kind of like, I did good at this, and so like if a student's had a success, I'll write down a quick note saying, hey, they did a great job in X, Y, or Z, or we're working on this right now and they're really enjoying it, or they're kind of struggling. And then also it kind of falls into parent conferences, and so we're having parent conferences once or twice a year, and then we're meeting annually to review our students' IEPs, which, sometimes parents are like, okay, yeah, this is great. This is just following up on what we've already been talking about. And so it's not usually a surprise come IEP time that their student can do X, Y, or Z, or we're struggling here. And so it's just, making sure we're communicating throughout the year. And so when we meet annually, we're all on kind of the same page.
So how important is that special education parent, special education teacher communication connection?
For some parents, they are amazing. They are super involved. They're super, how can I help? What can I do at home? And then sometimes there's parents that struggle to kind of, how do I support my students? And sometimes those are the parents that you really need to make sure you reach out to and you talk, and it's like, I can't provide these services, but here are where you can go, and being able to kind of help guide parents, because sometimes walking into a situation where your student has special needs and you're like, I don't know how to get the help. What do I do? What do we, I like to try to be a sounding board for those parents, because it's important that yes, I'm your student's teacher and I care about your student, but also I may not be the person with all the resources, but let me show you where to get them. So, you know, making sure we're working as a team and I'm providing enough services and not necessarily in class, but information. Like I want to be the information source for my parents of where to get extra help if they need it.
So how important is your professional development? Because things are changing all the time, something new comes up, maybe there's a syndrome or something you've never heard of that you've got to study up on. How valuable is that time away from the classroom when you have to study yourself?
You know, some people really don't like professional development during class, and I'm definitely one of them, but there's value in finding new information, different teaching ways. There's value in continuing learning, and I tell my students and I tell my own kids that as a grown-up, you never stop learning. It's important to continue learning. I go back to school periodically to learn different things. So growth is important, and I try to teach my students that and model it through what I do. And so, you know, I do take classes through, you know, when I have time to take an extra class about something new, or if I see a professional development that's going to maybe help my class, or just kind of keep up with the times, because a lot of things are now technology based. Well, you know, if you fall behind on those, then you're missing out on some of the opportunities to teach innovative ways to teach your students.
So what inspired you to become a special education teacher?
You know, that's kind of a funny story. I had no intentions of being a special ed teacher. I was going to, when I first got married, I was like, I'm going to be a high school counselor. And my mother-in-law and my father-in-law were both teachers. And I was like, they're the first ones to get laid off when there's a downtime. And I was like, okay, not going to work. I like little kids. I want to be a kindergarten teacher. And just kind of going through school and doing different things. I had worked for Sac City Unified as a classified sub, and I had left for a while, and I was like, you know, I kind of want to come back. And I had talked to a friend, she's like, they really need special ed subs for instructional aides. And I was like, I have no experience in special ed, but okay, what the heck? I like kids, let's see what happens. And I went in, and I went into a class for students with moderate to severe autism, 4th through 6th grade students. So they're as big as I am. And the teacher kept going, are you going to come back after your break? Are you going to come back after lunch?
She wasn't so sure.
She wasn't so sure. And she had people say, whoa, this is not for me, and leave midday, or, you know, not come back. And I kept going, yeah, I'm fine. These kids are great. And it was a week assignment. And she, you know, the next couple of days, are you coming back? Yeah. And just getting to know the students. And by that Friday, I had made just seeing little changes in the students, and seeing the tiny successes were like amazing, because you're like, okay, you couldn't do this on Monday and now you can do it. And I was just in awe of the determination of these students and the will to learn and thinking outside of the box. It was just amazing. On Friday, I was going, okay, I don't want to be a gen ed teacher anymore. I want to be a special ed teacher. And I have never left.
And so what does it mean now for you to be a teacher of the year for your school district?
It's such an amazing honor. It's really humbling. And it's just, I'm kind of just in awe, like, wow, it's just such an honor. And I have a hard time articulating how honored I am, and how kind of just like overwhelmed by the experience. Like, I work hard, I know I work hard, but there are so many teachers in the district that I know personally that have, like, they put their heart and their soul into it. And just being able to represent those teachers and the school and the staff that I work with within our own small kind of community, it's amazing, because it's not me being teacher of the year, it's a group effort. I have an amazing principal. I have amazing paraprofessionals in my classroom who, you know, day in, day out, we have our strengths. We work together. We're a family. I have the teachers next door and cross campus. Like, we've become a family, and this is not just for me, it's for all of us, of how hard we've worked to, you know, do the right thing for our students and push our students for greater achievements.
Well, and because of that hard work and because of the teamwork, you're able to be a Teacher of the Year for the Sacramento City Unified School District. Thank you for being here and talking to us. We've been speaking with Seema Sokelis from Sacramento City Unified. Thank you.
Thank you.